Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kevin Dini here for Superpower Review, coming back at you with another live stream video. Guys, I'm super excited today because today we are going to be giving King in Black issue 2 a review. And as always, I am not alone. I'm joined by one of my best friends from the IG comic family, Joseph Reed, a.k.a. OldManVenom. Oh, other way. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on, dude.
As always, you are more than welcome, good sir. So let's just jump right in here, shall we? So if you guys are watching here, again, don't forget to smash that like button if you like today's content. Comment some feedback in the comment section down below, in case if you're watching this on the rewind, and feel free to join in on the conversation in the chat. If you guys have questions for my buddy and I, feel free, just shoot them away. And again, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for future comic review videos and to potentially win a free slab. And if you'd like to win a free signed slab, all the information is in this video's description down below on how to enter. So all right, man, so let's get right into it. So we're doing this live today because the studio is closed, and so I had to figure out another way to kind of do a review with my friend here. So we're doing it live. So thank you so much for joining me on my first comic book review live video, Joe. Thanks, man.
Dude, it's always a pleasure, man. I'm always thankful for you for bringing me on and just talking symbiotes.
That's how it goes. So far we have Lacrucis 1971 in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me, man. We got my friend James over at MJ Comics. What's up, my symbiote loving brothers? What's going on, man? And then Lacrucis saying hello from New Mexico. And then we got my buddy Jeremy Cruz from Remy Q Studios. So thank you guys so much for joining in. So issue number 2, written by Donny Cates, and we got Ryan Stegman on art. What did you think of this issue?
I mean, I definitely liked it. I can appreciate it, but there was a few moments that I kind of already knew in advance what was going to happen. So that's personally my fault for looking into that. So I just kind of I didn't get to enjoy it as if it were just naturally to play out. Like I kind of already knew what was going to happen. But overall, I think it was a pretty good issue. There was a couple solid little moments in it. This panel right here, I thought this was cool. Oh, where are we at? We get the nullified Avengers and X-Men and all that good stuff right here.
Yeah,
that
right.
Moment
Because we thought we were dead, right?
Yeah. Come to find out they're not dead, and the cool thing about that is it makes some of these nullified variants like canon. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of knew what was going to happen, so I kind of, you know what I mean? I guess I shot myself in the foot with that one. So all in all, I thought it was a good issue. Like I said, I'm glad that this issue pretty much it was riding right off of issue 1. In issue 1, we had the death of Century, and then in this one, we got the death of Eddie Brock. So bravo. I mean, issue 3 has to have some sort of major death. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So here's my thing. Here's my take on it so far, right? So I already knew that issue 1 was going to be all crazy and hyped up, right? And then 2 was just going to be a little more like backstory. They're gonna kind of retreat from the huge battle. They gotta come up with a game plan and think of something what to do. So I was expecting not so much of hype and epicness, if that makes sense, because I knew that it was just pretty much all wasted for issue number 1. So in a way, like you said, there were some really good moments in this issue, but this issue was totally build up. It's just the Avengers preparing on what to do and coming up with the game plan.
It's very true. I will give you that. There is little to no action involving Null whatsoever. I mean, we see him in a few panels in the beginning, and he kind of just makes a comment about he literally throws Brock to the off of the top of the skyscraper, and he lands on top of a car, and he kind of makes a comment it was kind of tongue-in-cheek humor, if you ask me. He says something like, what does it take to kill a guy, or something stupid like that. So that was it for Null for the whole issue. But there was a couple solid moments in it. I really liked what happened with Iron Man. I definitely enjoyed that.
Yeah, so he kind of comes up with his own formula to kind of so Null can't get in contact with the symbiote through the hive, if I'm correct on that.
he like cuts him off in some sort of a way. He bonds them to his extremis technology, which I love that. I feel like if you go back to Superior Iron Man, like his suit just reminded me of like a symbiote. So the fact that they brought that in and bonded it to a symbiote, like that was freaking cool. So that right there kind of sold me like on all of this.
Right. And like so like that whole game plan, he had that plan, went through with it to go save Eddie Brock because Eddie Brock is like nearly dying, right? So he's like, well, we can't repair him unless we bond him with a symbiote. And this is where we again see the power of Dylan Brock. You know, he just like he gets that symbiote off of his dad, who's killing him even more than he already is. And you know, we get to see how powerful he really is. And Reed Richard was really shocked, like he's the key. Like it was almost like, where has this kid been? Like why is he only here now? You know what I mean?
Right now, in a way, you said something the last review that we did on issue 1 that you thought that Spider-Man was going to go get Dylan, and in
Yeah.
fact, he did. He
Yeah.
absolutely did. So Dylan definitely plays a key to this for sure. But if you're reading the what do you call it, the tie-ins,
Yeah.
um,
I haven't read any of
I
the tie-ins.
well the Iron Man and Doctor Doom, there's a pretty big moment that happens in that too. So I'm trying not to get everything mixed up because I already unfortunately read things. So, but there's a big moment that happens in that. So what Iron Man did wasn't in vain. You know what I mean? Like they definitely had like I don't know what Tony's full plan is, but he's definitely got some sort of plan. And then Dylan, like I said, he could pretty much either you know save the day or whatever the hell you want to call it, or he could be persuaded by Noel, which I'm kind of counting on that happening.
Yeah, really? So you really think he's going to be persuaded by Null and just kind of rip shit up, huh?
I definitely, I just for some reason I just keep catching that vibe. Um, something's definitely, this whole story is just pretty much about Dylan. Like as much as Noel plays a part, I feel like this is all going to come down to Dylan.
Yeah, totally. I mean, why would they create this character and go through all this nonsense? I mean, so like, and again, it was said right in the book, like he's the key. Reed Richards said he is the key to winning this. So, I mean, I really hope he. I kind of understand what you're saying about him, like going to the bad side, pretty much being Codex, right? But
Hmm.
I think it would be really cool if he just you know goes by his dad's morals recently, because you know Venom Eddie Brock did have a pretty dark past, and you know ever since Dylan came in his life, he's more of a father figure. He looks back and has a different take and doesn't want to kill enemies all the time. So maybe that's going to be a good influence on Dylan. Dylan will do the right thing.
Dylan definitely loves his dad, regardless of the situation. You could tell that he very much loves his dad. So that's very true. But just Noel is so powerful. The second he like grabs him, you know what I
Mm.
mean? They would get face to face. I just have some weird feeling that Noel's going to do something, and it's just going to awaken something in him. I'm expecting fully that Eddie Brock's going to be back. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm connecting this to Venom the End because him and Donny Cates and the writer of Venom the End worked very closely together, and the symbiote keeps Eddie Brock's body alive like trillions of years into the future until literally the atoms disintegrate and he falls apart. So I'm expecting Eddie Brock's going to come back somehow or another. The whole comeback king thing, like that's definitely going to play a part. I feel like for sure.
Yeah, totally. Because you know Eddie Brock is dead, and I haven't heard a single person freak out about this. Like Eddie Brock is
No one
dead. Like what?
cares.
Nobody cares. Why is that? I think, and again, I think
Nobody
it's just
cares.
because people know that he's really not dead. That's how I take it. If people aren't butthurt about him actually being dead, and you know thinking that he's not coming back, then I'm gonna be really, really hurt as a fan. Like nobody cares about
Mhm.
Eddie. What?
I just for me personally, like when Eddie comes back, like I hope they put to rest this freaking emo Eddie Brock shit or crap. You know, like I'm so I'm so over this emotional Eddie Brock. Like he used to be a freaking bully. Like he was a meathead jock. Like
Mm.
he's just so emotional. This whole storyline. I think after he dies, if he does come back, then I want to see like a different Eddie Brock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No more of these little emotional games. Like I want to see Venom in his like true potential.
Yeah. I mean, I was just saying, just to kind of let you know, but I was on somebody else's channel, and I forgot what we were talking about, but we were talking Venom, related subject matter, and I was just saying how I miss the Venom symbiote having such a bad influence on Eddie Brock. You know what I mean? Just kind of really picking that ego and that darkness that he already had inside himself. You know what I mean? So I really want to see that back, and I really want to see that nasty, super hulking Venom that we seen like
Yeah,
when Lee Price, not Lee Price,
Matt
uh,
Gargan,
Matt Gargan, gets crazy and
Flash
bites off
Thompson.
heads. Like that's what I want to see.
That's. I think we all want to see that. I mean, the Venom movie was freaking horrible, but at least he's this huge hulking monster that's like biting heads off and whatnot. I want to see that portrayed in the comics in some sort of way. And I was reading that nobody dies in comics.
That's right. That's why nobody's freaking out.
I seen somebody say, Uncle Ben stays dead, but I think he came back in one of the. I think he came back in the Edge of Spider-Verse or something like that.
Yeah.
So no one stays dead, but if you've really been reading, like I said, man, you've really been paying attention, you just already know that Eddie Brock's going to come back. You don't know how, but he's definitely going to come
Yeah.
back.
For sure. And I'm sorry, the Venom host I was thinking of is Flash Thompson. It just slipped my mind real quick. I got so much things going on, but that's that. When he just gets crazy and he loses control and just starts biting heads off. That's the kind of Venom I want to see back. You know what I mean? None of this silly footing around and like, oh, I can't kill him or my son's right here. But if he wasn't here, I would totally kill you.
But at the same time, we've seen Dylan act like a maniac. So I mean,
Yeah, right.
Like come on now.
Yeah, totally.
But
another thing. Go ahead.
I was going to say there was a cool moment that the Human Torch actually did the Nova Blast, which was pretty cool.
That was really cool. And I think it's really cool that we're seeing Neymar coming in here too. So like, what is like what's going to be his side of the story,
Now my thing is this: I don't know much about Neymar at all. I know he encountered Venom as when it was Matt Gargan way back in the day, and they had a little squabble. But as far as symbiotes and how it could tie in, I really have no idea. I've kind of skimmed through the tie-ins, so I'm not really sure. But his introduction to this storyline, like he just comes in, slams his staff down, and is just like starts yelling at everybody. Like I feel like he's going to have something to do with it. I just don't know what. I couldn't tell you. The whole the Black Tide thing, I'm not sure if that's something from Noel or something from them. I'm really not sure, but
right.
He's a character I could really care less about, but when he came in and the way he started talking about the whole situation, it just
meant business.
Intriguing. Yeah, like okay, all right, what's going to happen with this? So I thought that was cool.
I really don't know too much about the character, but you may care less. But I'm actually kind of intrigued because, like, what they were like what he was saying about, like, you guys, are fighting this guy, and he's just taking over the world. Like I'm most of the world. Like my kingdom is most of the world, and we fight in the darkness all the time. Like just calling them bitches, pretty much. But
yeah.
But I was like, oh, like look at this guy coming in. Like I really don't know much about you, besides you're the Marvel version of Aquaman, but you mean business right now.
Yeah, he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing at all. He's ready to slap somebody. So, MJ Comics, Null isn't the King in Black. It's Eddie Brock for when he returns from the dead. The Return of the King. I agree. I absolutely agree.
I like that a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And what? So Dylan Brock will be the prince? No, just kidding.
That's so bizarre because I mean I have no idea what to expect with Dylan. Kind of segueing from that. So Eddie, going back to Iron Man, he goes out, gets like a sample from one of the dragons, bonds it to the extremis, and brings it back to Eddie Brock's badly destroyed body in hopes of, I guess, giving him the symbiote, and then it would like heal him. And then, he has this idea that Eddie is the key to all this. So
Which he
when that
is.
happens, he definitely is. But when that happens, one thing that kind of made me like smile a little bit was he explains that, I'm gonna go out and go grab a dragon and go do all this, and like, Dylan's kind of like, okay, I see what you're doing. If you go get that, blah blah, we can do this. And Spider-Man just straight up calls out Sleeper, like, don't you have a symbiote cat or something like that?
Yes.
And for a second, I was just like, here we go. And he was just like, yeah, but when Carnage bonded to the dragon, he was like unstoppable. So.
And when I first read that, I was just about to bring that up about Spider-Man bringing up Sleeper. When I read that, I was like, Joe was right. Joe was right. He said that on the last show. And hey, I wanna finally see Sleeper do something. You know what I mean? Like, I know Sleeper is kind of cool, but like this, he's literally Sleeper. He just does nothing. He hasn't done anything in this series. So I want to see him do something and kind of play an important role into this whole series.
Definitely, man. He has to at some point. They got to do something with him. What was it? I was just thinking about. Oh, so speaking of Sentry, there was a few things I noticed here. I'm probably going to get her name wrong, but Valkyrie or whatever.
Yes.
She starts to say something and she kind of gets cut off, but
it's Jane Foster Thor, right?
Huh?
It's Jane Foster Thor.
Yes, yeah. So she pretty much tells Spider-Man, she's sorry she can't stay. Like she will soon be needed elsewhere. The Sentry soul, it is my duty to. And then he just kind of yeah. But when she said that really started to make me think, like, is the Sentry dead? Or is he some sort of like, if you read the tie-ins, the Black Cat tie-in, it's like her perspective of when everything goes down, and she sees Null pretty much kill Sentry, but she refers to him as a god of light. So I'm kind of intrigued what's going on with all the Sentry stuff.
So maybe she can like absorb his power or something?
Who's that?
Thor, maybe.
I don't know what she's doing. It's something to do with the Sentry soul. She needs to go do something with Sentry soul. So I have no idea. I know he pops up in the Valkyrie's tie-ins, and then the Thunderbolts cover just got released. It's like a huge explosion, and his symbol is in the explosion. So I have a feeling that Sentry's not out for the count. I'm starting to see a lot of stuff, so I don't think Sentry's out for the count.
You think it was just something for us to see as viewers of like Null just coming in and just destroying stuff and just killing something, giving us what we want, and then like ta-da, Sentry's back.
Basically, that's what it seems like. Is like, oh yeah, this is the biggest, baddest dude in the Marvel universe. I'm gonna rip him in half, and then a couple issues later, he's so damn powerful that he's just gonna come back like,
Well, whatever, again, we'll go back to this comment right here.
Yep.
We'll just go back to that. Let's see. So if you guys have any suggestions, again, feel free to go into the chat and let us know what you think. Let's see. What does DJ Lynx have? Or maybe she'll get his soul from Hades. Yeah, that's actually a good point there, DJ Lynx, and I really like that, and I can kind of see that happening. So yeah, again, no comic character ever truly dies. So I think that's just something that Donny Cates gave us, so we can finally see that spectacle of somebody like being torn apart and seeing how strong Null is, and they'll just come back. So
that is definitely for sure. But I do believe Sentry has something to do with this God of Light thing for sure.
Yeah. So like I kind of want to go back because I just remembered something. I want to kind of go back to when Tony Stark brought the Venom symbiote, and so like when he brought that Venom symbiote or just the symbiote on Eddie, it wouldn't be Venom. It would just be a whole different entity, right?
Yeah, exactly. It would have been a whole different symbiote. So that's
so
what was a little confusing about it.
Yeah, and like so like it's only Eddie Brock and Venom that can like. I know Eddie Brock has bonded to other symbiote suits, but like not every single symbiote can bond to a human.
Right, and I don't think it would be, it's not going to be Venom at his true potential. Like, he's not just going to pull a blade out and make a cannon out of his arm. Like, it would have been totally different.
Right, right. So do you think going back to Venom Beyond, do you think there's a chance that these characters might come back, like the agents and Codex coming out and help out, be the cavalry, as you will?
I can definitely see that happening because, I mean, at this point, Noel is just so overpowering. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to have to be something drastic. Like, the Maker, I'm still waiting for him to pop up. He's been after Noel. He's been after Noel since day one. So the second he finds out Noel's on Earth, he's going to do something. Yeah. So I'm expecting that, and I'm definitely expecting Codex and all them to come through. At this point, I'm kind of giving up on the whole virus thing. Like, I could see him coming back with the armor just to be able to make it back to this universe, but he might end up discarding the armor afterwards. Which, if Lee Price is alive, he should buy it from him, mantle him,
or just make his own. Yeah, totally. I would love to see. I need to see Virus back because I know we cry about this every single time we do a video together, but I just have to see this character back. You know what I mean? He's just so cool.
Dude, it was some of the best like comics that we've gotten out of Venom, like in my personal opinion. I mean, what was it? Man, the whole thing with where all the ice giants were in New York and Eddie got the Dreamstone.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? I can't remember the storyline, but Eddie was like vicious. He was like super vicious in there. There was a lot of like stuff like that going on, but the fighting between Virus, that's all you get out of this entire series. He literally fights no one else like that. And to me, that's what comics is. Like, yeah, it's great to have a story, but I need some action. I'm like going back. Like, I'm just so tired of emotional Eddie. And if you go back and reread the whole series, there's a lot of emotional Eddie, and it's just like
we need a happy balance.
I'm ready for Venom to just be pissed, dude. I'm tired of it.
We just want to see him butting heads again. Yeah. No, for real. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the last time we saw, literally, no pun intended, a hulking Venom was an absolute carnage when he was taking on the actual taking on Carnage, but that was so short-lived, you know what I mean? So, but I just want to see that rage and anger, just be unleashed already. And I can totally relate. But we just need a good, happy balance between, good emotional Eddie. I mean, I don't mind it sometimes, like, especially when he wants to be the father figure, but like when it's time to take care of business, I want him to just, not care.
That's how I feel about it, seriously.
Yeah. So we're having a couple more comments coming in here. We have Sean Arias saying, "Hey, this is and I just picked up my King in Black 2 right now. Still haven't opened them, but I definitely dig the tattoo variant the best. Those are kind of interesting. So it's like almost like a flash art sort of tattoo that you would see in a tattoo parlor. It looks kind of cool.
They're pretty wild. It's definitely like the old school type of tattoos as well. I think that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But
so.
Yeah,
go ahead,
Sean. Sorry if we spoil anything, man. We've just been unleashing here.
Well, this is Superpower review, so it's it's spoiler reviews. So I know last time for King in Black issue 1, we were we talk about Ryan Stegman's art a lot, and we are a fan of his, but we saw some discrepancies in the last issue where we said like that didn't look so right and this didn't look so right. What did you think about the artwork in this issue compared to number 1?
I mean, it was pretty much along the same lines. I feel like he got to take a little bit more time on this because there's a lot more to issue 1 than there is this issue. So I feel like he got to kind of take his time and space it out. There's a couple really good splash panels like this camera backwards crap. This is killer.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That could be a freaking second print cover right there. Like that, I thought that was killer.
Usually when you say this could be a second print cover right here, it normally does happen. I think people at Marvel actually listen to this.
Well, if they do, I hope they consider me for a writer after Donnie leaves.
There you go, Marvel. You
Nah.
got your boy right here.
Um. One thing I did notice that was really cool, and I feel like a lot of people probably appreciated this, but we get to see Blade a little bit in this issue,
True.
and he pretty much goes to recruit some sort of help and ends up going straight to Dracula himself. And some of my friends, I mean, we're all in the same group. How many times has Noel been compared to Dracula?
True.
A
True.
lot. So now that Blade, I'm assuming he's recruiting Dracula in to try and help out in whatever way. But I think it's really cool that we might end up seeing Dracula and Noel face to face. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a good point. So, like, again, this is sort of a good series, bringing a lot of the Marvel roster out of the woodwork. Like, we got Namor, and we got Blade coming in. So I think we're about to see more characters a little more down the line as well. So what do we got here? We got I follow Old Man Venom because he's Venom Beast. My question to him would be, how many nullified variants will I be looking for?
How many variants will you be looking for? That's all you, brother. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how many to be looking for, but I've been grabbing I've grabbed one of every one, but there's a few I've gotten doubles of, including the Thor one. That one that one's pretty nasty. I have
Yeah.
this strange feeling if Thor shows up in typical fashion, he's just going to get his ass kicked, and then he's going to get nullified. And if that happens, then that cover will become canon too. So I really like that one. I'd say just I've said this to so many. Just buy what you like, man. Whichever one stands out to you, buy it.
And
It's
we
always
got
three. The answer is three. Hey, that is the answer for me for the most part. The Ghost Rider, I'm definitely going to get three of. But yeah, I'm just not trying to sit here and tell people to go out and buy comics. I just go buy what you want. You know what I mean? Buy what you like. Just read it.
and just
Not the
read it,
variants.
just do it.
Not the variants. Just read the first prints.
So with Dracula being recruited, to be honest, I thought Dracula was only a thing, like back in what, 70s, when we had Tomb of Dracula. So like I thought there was like sort of like a copyright thing where I never heard of like a Marvel Universe Dracula, if that makes sense.
I distinctly remember it may have been one of the Ravencrofts. I think there was a Ravencroft Dracula one shot. I didn't read it,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like I saw that, but I know that there is a Marvel version of Dracula. But like you said, when's the last time we've seen Dracula? That's what I'm saying. That's what's really cool about him recruiting Dracula. The fact that they went to that level was kind of neat. I don't know what to expect, but
Yeah.
it was definitely wild. This series literally has everyone on deck.
It really does, and you're right. And like I just said, we're having characters, coming out of the woodwork, and I just love how they're exploring all their options. We had sort of an Infinity Stone Easter egg in here, which I thought was pretty cool, and we got to use everything that we potentially have to use against this guy. You know what I mean? So I thought that was really cool, to read that. Like, ooh, like Infinity Stones, like that. I think that would be pretty cool to try to use on him. Would it be too easy to use on him? I don't know, because like maybe the Infinity Stones would totally overpower Null. I don't know how that scenario would go, to be honest.
He might be wrong, or he might be immune to it for all we know.
Do you think
He's literally the void.
can symbiotes attach themselves to the Infinity Stones? That's a big question right there.
Dude, I so a long time ago when somebody did some create your own symbiote contest, and I had so many people like messaging me like, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, and I finally sat down and I drew up, which my symbiote was it was just a symbiote bonded to the energy stone, and literally it could shoot energy. It's sounds so ridiculous, but I really did. I never posted it because everyone was posting digital art, and I just did a quick sketch, so I just kind of got over it. But dude, I feel like a symbiote could bond to just one of the stones, especially like the life stone or something like that. Like that could totally happen.
Well,
That's
if you
why I
look,
feel like they could get Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet and come running up on Null, and and he'll just like bitch smack the crap out of him, and like just take the stones and do whatever he wants with them.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I was thinking, because if you look back at the Hive, at when Venom was on Venom Beyond, he was able to absorb energy and exhaust it. So what if a symbiote can handle the power of an Infinity Stone, then it could potentially do that. Hold on, we got a bunch of comments coming in now. Hold on, we got this here. We got Sean Arias. Ghost Rider is going to be sick. Don't worry, I'm going to read as soon as you guys are done. We got TK. TK's Batcave. Yo, what's going on, man? How you doing? And we got Tony Fett. Hey, yo, what's new, crew? What's going on, man? How you doing? Thank you so much for joining, guys. Guys, again, don't forget to smash that like button. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was just saying, what's up, guys? But yeah, since it's sitting right here, this is that design I came up with.
Oh yeah, that's sick.
Literally back in 2008.
I like that a lot, actually.
2018. It's just really crappy. Everyone was posting like digital art, so I was just like, I didn't have digital art at the time. I'm like, I just kind of gave up on it. But that is one of the things I absolutely love about Venom, the hand cannon. That and by itself, just like, I swear, it's like they're in my head.
Mega Man cannon.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love it. Like we said, I feel like that he could totally, if he got a hand on one of them stones, he could do some stuff with it.
Yeah,
same thing with Null.
Yeah, exactly. So like, if Null were able to get one of the stones, like, then it's like, holy crap, what do we do now? But hey.
So yeah, what else we got here?
I gotta say though. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, the very end of the comic.
Yeah.
We have like a 3 or 4 page preview of Venom issue 32.
Yes.
So, from what I'm gathering, first off, the artwork is by Ivan Coelho, and it's
my favorite.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
There's really not much going on with this issue, from what I gather. Is literally that Eddie is dead, and many times he's been in the darkness, but this time it's like different. And he goes to explain when Noel controlled his other and cast him out, and then when Carnage did the same thing to him on Venom Island, like, he's used to being in this darkness where he can't control anything, but it feels different. But at the at the very, very, very end of this little preview,
exactly,
get it nice and close. It's not really focusing, but this voice bubble right here is Rex Strickland, and I'm kind of a dork when it comes to this stuff.
How do you know that?
His voice box is all black, and it's got a green. You can't see it, but it's like a green line that goes around the black. And if you read the series, anytime when them two bond, Venom and the symbiote bond. Anytime that Rex talked to him in his head, it just came up as some little, thought bubble things or whatever, and they all have the little green line inside the black.
That's
he's kind of greenish. So, dude, that right there, because I was reading a preview, I'm like, oh, okay, Eddie's dead and he's in the abyss or something, like, and you kind of notice there's like symbiotic tendrils coming towards him, and then at the very end it just says Brock, and I was like, I know that voice bubble. That's freaking Rex, and then he's on the cover with him, so I have no idea what to expect. But from what I've been seeing, like preview-wise and just little things like this, like we're getting Anti-Venom back through Black Cat. She goes and meets up with Professor, I think it's Steve something, or I forget his name, guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So he's bringing back the Anti-Venom symbiote, which she's going to use to try and steal Doctor Strange back from Null, which that's going to be very interesting.
So hold on, let me ask you something real quick then. How important do you feel like that the tie-ins are are to this series, and are they more important to the series than they were for Absolute Carnage?
In a way, they kind of are. It's sitting right here in a pile. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and get it. But let's say, for example, in Black Cat, she pretty much is bringing back the anti-venom symbiote. So a lot of people alone right there are going to say it's more important than all of Absolute Carnage in its entirety.
Just
So
that one issue.
there's that. And then there's this, the Iron Man Doctor Doom. There's a really big moment that happens in this, which I did not expect. This whole book seems very kind of like just goofy humor, but somewhere in the middle it gets very, very serious. And that's a bigger tie-in than most of the Absolute Carnage tie-ins. Like some of them were just kind of off the wall, and I can kind of compare that to the King in Black tie-in with Immortal Hulk, because there was literally no talking in that entire issue. But I thought it was a good issue, but that wasn't. If you were to not read that while reading all of this, you're not missing anything. And so far, most of the Namer stuff, I've kind of skimmed through it, and I haven't really picked up anything that's really like stuck out. The Union kind of didn't really stick out at all.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hit or miss.
I see. So like no normally when on big series like this, I don't pick up tie-ins. You know what I mean? I don't really normally pick up tie-ins. I mean, I have even dropped Venom because I just haven't gone that route. I always felt like tie-ins were a waste of time. But now you're making me intrigued here because I didn't even know about the anti-venom symbiote coming back, and that's really intriguing. And we said something about this off camera on our last video, talking about like is anti-venom coming back, because like that could be a huge key to this battle as well. But going back, the huge key here is Dylan, but I feel like the anti-venom could play a huge role in this.
It's definitely going to damper Noel in some sort of a way, because number one, he's not going to recognize it. If he catches her, he's not going to recognize what it is. He might be able to recognize that it's some sort of abomination attempt at his creation, but
exactly,
I think he's going to be very confused by it, and then he's not going to be able to manipulate it. And let's say she forms a blade and like slashes him with it. I think he might feel that. You know what I mean? So. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of potential there with the anti-venom symbiote, but just for the love of God, don't kill it off. Like they need to let her keep it for a little while until someone else takes it. Whatever, keep the anti-venom symbiote around for a little while. I don't think it's going to be enough to completely defeat Null, but it's definitely going to help.
What if the anti-venom created its own sort of necro sword version? That would be pretty cool.
I feel it good. I mean, all symbiotes really probably could make their own versions. It's just I don't know. It's the way they go about it. It makes it seem like a majority of them could do something like that. Didn't Carnage have a sword at some point in Absolute Carnage? I'm not sure.
Possibly. I can't remember. That was already a year ago. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is crazy.
I know. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, we were talking about Virus for a second and how we kind of miss him. What if Matt Gargan does use the virus suit to come back to our world? And again, like you said, all hands on deck. Every character needs to be fighting this battle. What if Iron Man makes him his own virus suit with anti-symbiote tech?
I don't know if Iron Man would do that, but that would be awesome. I think Iron Man would be pissed. Like, yo, get out of my stuff before I seriously kill you. Like, take that suit off. And then he'd probably go somewhere and like scrub it down and just like cuss to himself the whole time. But what if he comes back and it's all hands on deck, right? And we got Black Cat right here wearing an anti-venom symbiote doing whatever, and he's right here in a virus suit that's falling apart, and Tony's watching him like, what the? And then something happens, and he gets the anti-venom symbiote, and then bam, it's anti-venom versus Venom again. Like I feel like these are the things we need in the comics. We need less emotion and more like stuff like that.
Yeah,
Speaking
I
of,
get
going back to it real quick, Planet of the Symbiotes issue 3.
you.
The
Mhm.
cover was shown not too long ago, and it's got freaking Toxin on the cover, so we
That's
might
true.
be
Yeah.
getting a lot of symbiotes back.
Yeah, that would be really cool because we were talking not too long ago in the Symbiote chat about Toxin coming back, and our good friend Jeb was like, "Yeah, he's coming back. This is legit." And you're like, "Wait, what? This is legit? This is really happening?" So that's again another character from the woodwork possibly coming back. And not a lot of people know about Toxin. I feel like if people aren't into symbiote stuff like we are, and we are just mentioning Toxin now, people are like, wait, Toxin? Who the hell is that?
He did it. It was a very short-lived symbiote. He
Yeah.
had his own little 4-part miniseries where he was first, I guess born or whatever, and that was the Venom versus Carnage. And then after that, he had like a 5 or 6 issue miniseries that was one of the most god awful things to grace the face of comic books ever. And then from there, we didn't see him for a while, and he popped back up in the Carnage series while Eddie Brock was wearing it as the Agent Toxin, which I
Yeah.
thought was cool. But then they sacrificed it to kill off Cthulhu or whatever it was, and that was pretty much the end of it. But that symbiote was like the 1,000th symbiote born of that line, so it was like super ultra powerful, and they just totally destroyed it. So if they bring it back, I feel like there's something going on with all these symbiotes possibly coming back. There's something going on. How many are going to last is what I'm really wondering.
That's true. That's also really true. So, Joe, we're 42 minutes into this live stream, and let's get into giving this book a grade now. So, if you were to give King in Black issue 2 a CGC grade, what would you give it today?
9.4 all day long.
And that would be my grade as well. You and I are very much the same. We're always on point. Like we always have like the same opinions about things. So I'm gonna give this issue a 9.4 as well. And the reason for the 9.4 is it's not as much action in this. You're not going to see as much action as you did in the first issue. This is build up, people. This issue is all about build up and building a team and coming up with a master plan to go up against Null and trying to save Eddie Brock, who is a huge key for the help of Null, because he knows mostly he knows the most information about Null other besides Dylan. But again, I feel like Dylan is going to be the big key to end this whole series.
Like I said, man, he pretty much just watched his father die. So he's going to be in a weird spot. So if Null gets a one-on-one with him, it could go one of either ways, really. Like I just have this sneaking suspicion that he's going to end up going evil. What's up, Discovery, and what's up, Tapia's Family Unlimited Comics? What's up?
We got Tapia's Family Unlimited Comics. What's up, guys? You guys are just jumping in. We just gave the book a review based off of a CGC grade because, as you all know, it's tradition here to do that. And we just gave King in Black issue 2 a 9.4 CGC grade. And so here's a question I've never asked you before. And, I'm putting you on the spot here for a second, but if people aren't reading King in Black right now, why would you recommend King in Black?
The only reason I could really recommend the King in Black to somebody who is not reading Venom or anything like that is because of the fact that literally the entire Marvel universe is being involved in this, and it's got a lot going on. It's not just the Venom. Eddie's dead. All right, let's just go ahead and get that out. He's gone. So right now we're relying on, right now we're relying on the Fantastic Four of what's left of them. We're relying on Magneto. Like, I think even Doctor Doom might have something to do with stuff going on. Like, this isn't just like a Venom symbiote book. This is like the entire Marvel universe is like being tested right now.
It's true. And so like I've said this way before King in Black was announced. When I said, Null was coming at the end of Absolute Carnage, where we see that last page of Null, coming out of out of his prison, if you will. I knew right away. I was like, once this guy comes in here, he's gonna be a like Thanos level threat. And I've said this, on a good majority of our videos too. Like, he just comes and he is just relentless. You know what I mean? Count Von Strange, what's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Long time no see. Good to talk to you today, by the way. So I just think I'll totally agree with what you said. A good reason to read it is because almost every single Marvel character is going to be playing a part in this series. I would actually like to see more X-Men involved, actually, because it's one of my favorite Marvel teams, and I would love to see like a nullified Wolverine.
Yeah, I think we got a brief. I think we got to see him briefly in that one panel. But I like I said, I feel like a lot more people are going to get involved, and they might even end up being from different alternate universes and whatnot. I feel like this is probably the biggest like challenge that Marvel has had to face. I mean, they've gone through a lot with Thanos back in the day and all that good jazz, but this is like this is way bigger than anything else that's ever happened. John's comics with kids. So we were talking about it earlier. Black Cat said something about when she's watching the point of view of Null when he gets to Earth and she sees the whole fight between him and Sentry, and she says like something about like a dark god and it shows Null, and then she says a god of light and it shows Sentry, and then the Valkyries has a lot to do with Sentry. Apparently his soul, there's something going on with his soul that they need to attend to, and then what else was it? The Thunderbolts shows his symbol in an explosion. So I think what did I say earlier? I don't know what I said word for word, but I don't think Sentry's down for the count. I think he's bound to come back somehow or another.
This is a very interesting question, and I was talking about this on my last week's live stream show because was it Gore? The God Destroyer is announced for Thor: Love and Thunder, and so I was talking about this on my live stream, but there's a possibility that he may be introducing symbiotes and Venom into the MCU. I don't know.
I remember I was watching that video about John jumped in for a little bit in the chat, and he has to. He absolutely has to. I mean, I don't see Gore does not exist without Null. He gets his weapon from retrieving Null's body or whatever. Like, if they do that and make it like it's not a symbiote, like that would be the most messed up thing ever. But from what I'm gathering, I feel like symbiotes are going to play a huge role in Marvel Phase 2, like bigger than we're expecting. And I would not be surprised with Gore being in a movie. Null is bound to pop up and be in a movie. And I don't want to sound too crazy, but I'm starting to think more and more about from what I'm seeing that Null is the Phase 2 main villain, like how they built up Thanos all through Phase 1. I think Null might be Phase 2. And I read a comment somebody said about that. A lot of people were like, oh, you still got Galactus and you still got, and we've all heard that. If you've been reading comics for the past like 80 years, we've all heard that a million times. And this is something completely new and completely fresh. So I would not be surprised if Null is the main like villain for Marvel Phase 2.
Right, and I'll totally agree. Like, without Gore, there are no symbiotes. And I said in my live stream that I thought it was a really good way to introduce symbiotes into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yes, Spider-Man was the one to do it in comic books, but I think this would be the own movie way to do it, and I think this would be a good way of doing it as well. And we have such as Kang the Conqueror going to be a villain, and I've always said that he would be cool, but I think going around what you were saying about having Galactus and all these other well-known characters, let's give somebody new a spot. You know what I mean? Let's give them a chance and see what they can do on the silver screen. That's what's going to interest me.
Mm-hmm. Not only give somebody new the spot, but somebody new that could literally bitch slap Thanos. The way they have him set up, man, he is like OP as a mother.
Yes,
So
it's
if he
true.
were to be in the movies, like you have to. First off, I've heard a lot of people talk about Kang the Conqueror. I don't know much about the character, but I do not see him being. He's going to be in like Doctor Strange. He'll be the main villain for one of his movies. Just like we've seen plenty of other villains play these small little roles in different movies, but it all revolved around Thanos. Like Kang's
Right.
going to be a villain in some movie, but he is not. He's not the main reason for the Marvel Phase 2.
Well,
I don't know much about the character, but I'm just going to say he's not it. He is
well, here's
not
my
it.
thing too. Like with everything done in the MCU with Thanos, I said, okay, this is not going to be as serious with all the other movies. Like all the other movies are going to come out, they're going to build something up, and nothing is going to top what we just had. In order for them to top what we just had with Thanos and whatnot, I think Null would be the number one choice.
That's it. I mean, what else you got? Galactus shows up as a cloud and threatens the Earth again.
Yeah, right. And then we have that we have that massacre of Fantastic Four again.
Yeah, no, it's going to be something bigger than Thanos, and like I said, Kang the Conqueror, he ain't it.
Thanks, Toppy.
Smash that
I
like button.
I appreciate that, man. Yes, guys, please smash that like button. It would really help this video out. And again, if you guys are watching this on the rewind, if you guys are new here to the channel, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see future comic book reviews and other fun videos. And don't forget to enter our 1,800 subscriber giveaway video. So, Joe, anything else you want to bring up, buddy?
Not much. I feel like we kind of touched base on almost everything, really. I'm just very excited to see issue 3. I feel like we got Century's death in issue 1. We got Eddie Brock's death in issue 2. Like issue 3 has Thor on the cover. Maybe we'll get Thor's death. Like I'm just excited to see where this series is going to go because regardless of what we think and what we talked about, he'll be back. Oh, he's not dead, and no one cares that he's dead. That's a pretty big moment. The fact that we got 2 issues of a series that have major deaths, really, if you think about it. So I hope it continues that trend. That's the only thing I'm really excited for, is just to see how this is going to go and how it's going to end. I still don't think it ends with Null's complete total defeat. Like,
no, I don't see it that way
again
because right now this character is making the company money. If you were to kill off this character and not have the opportunity to use him again, it's going to be a huge loss in my opinion. So and he's really cool. I'm enjoying this character. Let's face it, when Donny Cates took on Venom, this is the best I've ever seen Venom. This is the best. Again, yes, I'll agree with the whole emotional side. Like it's too much of that, and I do like some of that, but I do want to see that Venom symbiote unleash and just go crazy and be a bad influence on Eddie Brock. But he's doing an awesome job. We're getting new characters into the Venom roster, and it's making people starting to look at Venom and picking up. I'm seeing a lot of people this year who knew nothing about Venom picking up Venom comic books, reading them, and enjoying them. Like, where has this been?
I've definitely noticed. I have been going through Instagram and I'm trying to find other collectors that they can collect anything. I prefer to follow collectors and not like companies and all this stuff. So in doing that, I have come across so many other people just like me and you, and I just see so many Venom collectors. It's awesome to see, but at the same time, like you said, I'm noticing a lot of the collectors are just now coming into it all, whether that's through Donny Cates or through the movie. It's all said and done. If Null ends up being in the movies and they really do capitalize on this character, this series, okay, let's put it to you this way. When Agent Venom first came out, most of the second print variants and stuff like that, they weren't really much of anything. I got the issue 1 Agent Venom, the 4th print pink cover. I got it for $4, and that was like a few months after it came out. So it wasn't really nothing. And if you look at what that series has done in time, it's gone up in value. And the best thing we got from that whole series was Flash Thompson and Agent Venom, and that was it.
And I
Now
like that.
looking at this series, we got Null, and if he's bound to be the MCU movie Big Baddie Phase 2, this series is just it's going to rise in value. So people should definitely be trying to collect this series right now. Is what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah. Not only will it rise in value, like you're saying, but I think this will be a good trade paperback to own. You know, if they do make movies, like let's face it, you know, the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Wars, people are always picking up that book. Oh, that's a good series. Pick that up. You know what I mean? So I think if that does happen, it's going to be the same thing with this series as well. Like, oh, that's a good series. They did a movie on that. Pick that up.
I've seen trade paperbacks retain some value. So if Null becomes the MCU, villain, this whole series is just going to like heat up. I mean, it's already doing super well. Even though it's emotional storytelling, it's more in depth than any of the late 90s Venom comics. You can go through every late Venom 90s comics and not get anything near the most emo, sappy Donny Cates Venom.
Yeah. So Universe X, we already touched up on this a few times, but yeah, we agree. We think this is gonna happen. So
yeah, Century is not out for the count.
No. Dead. Remember, dead. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. Joe, again, thank you so much for always coming on and talk about some symbiote goodness with me, man. I appreciate it.
Not a problem, dude. Thanks for having me, and thanks for everybody that came in and was talking with us. And it's definitely cool, man. Definitely cool.
Yeah. And if you guys want to follow my buddy Joe on Instagram, there's a link to his Instagram in this video's description down below. OldManVenom, as you can see on his title. If you guys are into Venom and want to see daily Venom news, go follow him. He's your guy. So, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, if you haven't smashed that like button, please do so. Subscribe to the channel to show your support and for future comic book reviews. And leave your comments in the comment section about how you felt about this issue. So I'm Ken Vidina for Superpower Review, and I'll see you guys next time.